So hey y'all, what's up? Let me go ahead and ruffle up Claudia feathers since she's so pressed. And let me tell y'all how I met her fine ass daddy, okay? So I was working as a travel CNA and I had an assignment back in Chicago and it was for 13 weeks. So on my lunch breaks, I used to always go to a Whole Foods over there at Hyde Park. And if y'all from Chicago, y'all know the Hyde Park area, y'all know it's a Whole Foods over there. So I used to always see Calvin. And this was before I even knew his name was Calvin, okay? I used to see him all the time. And you could tell he worked out. He watched what he put in his body. He had the little gym shorts on, the little Hoka shoes, all that shit. You can just tell this man took care of himself. Now, we had never talked to each other or nothing like that. I just always see him. And I knew he smelled good. He just looked like he smelled good. He had all his teeth. They were white and everything, okay? So one day, we both over at the hot bar. I was finna give me some of them little party wings they had and some of that little flavored rice or whatever. And he complimented my scrubs. He said he liked them my top. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you a lot. And he was like, yep, no problem. So nothing else was said for a couple minutes. So I hit him with the, what you getting? What's that? Now, I didn't know nothing about tofu or nothing like that. So he started explaining to me how he don't eat meat no more. He been cleaning meat for like 2 years. Or whatever, and just told me the stuff he eat and how tofu was, and tofu tastes like whatever you cook it and put it in. That's what gives it flavor. So I'm like, oh, okay, but the whole time he talking to me, I'm just gone. I'm lost into this man's eyes. Oh my God, he was so handsome. And you could tell he was an older man. He was salt and pepper hair and all that. Nice, clean beard, everything. He looked so good. And like I said, his teeth were perfect. And he smelled amazing, okay? He smelled like a man's supposed to smell. You hear me? So I was off that following weekend, so I didn't see him no more. But that Monday, I went up in there, and like I said, y'all, I was seeing him all the time when I went on my lunch break. So that Monday, I went up in there. So I told myself I was going to say a little bit more to him, if I saw him. I didn't see him that Monday or that Tuesday. But, honey, that Wednesday, I had already been practicing in my head, how my approach was going to be. So my approach was about, hey, do you help people meal prep? And I kind of told him a little bit more about myself, like, hey, I'm staying over here in this little complex. Me and a few more other girls, we on assignment. It's, too much money buying food every day, this and that. Do you help people meal prep? And he was like, yeah, I can give you a few tips. You got a number? And I said, yeah. So I gave him my number. So when I gave him my number, he sent me a text and he said, hey, this is my number. Save it under Calvin. I said, okay. He was like, yeah, you can call sometime too, if you need some help with something, since y'all knew out here how to get around and places to go, things like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So that weekend we had got paid. So I said, I'm going to call this man. So I called him. And I asked him, was he busy that Sunday? And if we can meet up at the Whole Foods. And, maybe he can help me get a few things that, that's good and healthy for me, while at the same time knowing that, hey, I'm a meat eater. I'm going to eat some meat. And he agreed to it, okay? So we met up at about 5:30. And I'm so delusional. So we met up at about 5 or 5:30, and it's just, when he came in, it was his walk. He had this stance of a little bow-leggedness going on. It was just, oh, God. So anyway, he helped me get a few things, and this grocery shopping thing turned into asking about, hey, what y'all doing next weekend? Do the other girls hang out? Are y'all guys old enough to get into lounges? And I laughed at him. I'm like, yeah, we old enough. He said, I got a few partners I hang with. We go shoot darts and stuff. Y'all want to come? And I'm like, yeah, we can come. So I couldn't wait to get back to the, back to the place we was staying so I could tell the girls, like, girl, I finally talked to Calvin, bitch. Why he invite us out? He helped me get some groceries and shit. Why he invite us out? So the girls like, yeah, I love to go hang with some old men. They know how to have fun. Woo. So that's what we did. That following weekend, we went out. We met them at this little pub place or whatever, and we had a good time. So the whole night, I just stared at this man. I mean, he smelled so good. For this man that had to be 60-something years old, these young dudes ain't got nothing on them, and he was such a gentleman. They brought us drinks. We really didn't eat nothing, 'cause like I said, he didn't eat meat, and the other ones, they just was hanging out, shit like that. So once I had a few more drinks, I started feeling good, so I really started talking to him, asking, was he single, is he married, what he like to do, this and that and this, and he just started talking to me and stuff. A few times he touched my leg, and I'm like, oh yeah. So after we kicked it, like I said, I guess some of the girls exchanged some numbers, some didn't, or whatever. So I was just excited about the fact that, hey, this man seemed like he interested in these big girls. I like that because, some people discriminate against us big girls. We don't be their type. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we be a little insecure, but I'm not one of them. Honey, I'm going to go for it. If God want me to have it, I'm going to have it. Know that. So he gave me a hug, a big old tight hug, and just I inhaled and smelled him and all that good stuff. So we all went our separate ways. So I didn't see him again until that Wednesday when I went back to Whole Foods. So I didn't see him for a few days again. So when I did see him, I was kind of happy to see him. I was like, hey, Calvin, how's it been going? And he was like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, that's good. And I'm like, it was a little different this time, versus, the last time or whatever. So I'm like, well, everything all right? He was like, yeah, I just got a little bit on my plate right now. And I'll get into that and let y'all know what had happened with that situation. But he's like, yeah, I just had a lot going on these last few days, yada, yada, yada. And I'm in the process of moving. I say, oh, okay. So he was like, I'm kind of busy right now. I got to, kind of run. And he had got a few things out the hot bar or whatever. You could tell he had been working out. So he was like, can I hit you up later? I'm like, yeah, that's cool. He like, I'm going to call you later. I'm like, cool, okay. So when he did hit me up later, he was like, you want to hang out this weekend? Are you working? I said, no, I'm free. I say, plus I work 6A to 6P. So he was like, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'll hit you up then and we can go somewhere and do something. I'm like, okay, bet. So when he did hit me up, he like, tonight one of them chill nights. You don't mind getting a room? I'm like, yeah, we can get a room. I'm like, yeah, we can get a room. So he like, you want to grab anything before we go? I'm like, yeah. So I wanted some Harold's chicken. So we went to Harold's. I got something. He got a gizzard and liver combo. We stopped at a liquor store and we went and got a room like downtown somewhere. Just, chill. Nothing major, nothing fancy. Just a decent little clean room and chill. So we talked a little bit more. He told me that he was married and stuff like that. He didn't go into detail. I didn't go into detail to ask why he wasn't married no more. I didn't care why he wasn't married no more. So we just talked that night. Things led to something else later on after we got done drinking and stuff. So, okay. So we slept the rest of the night away. That morning, got up. I took a shower. He took a shower. He said he had a few things to do. Well, I wanted him to drop me off at. I'm like, oh, okay. That's cool. So he dropped me back off at the spot. You know what I'm saying? I told the girls how my night was, which it was amazing. Do you hear me? Because like I say, this wasn't no average 60-something-year-old man. Okay? He knew what he was doing. Okay? So I don't know if any of y'all ever seen that movie with Wesley Snipes and no girl from Love and Basketball, but that disappearing acts, he did a few of them. It would be, and we kicked it a few times after that. You know what I'm saying? The whole 13 weeks I was there, I saw him multiple times, was with him multiple times and everything else. But it was peaks of a time where I ain't hear from dude. And even one time I called and he kept saying, who is this? And I kept saying my name and he like, wait, where I know you from? And I'm like, this motherfucker, he must be meeting all type of people. He don't remember where I'm from or how he met me, and we just was together last week sometime. And okay. So finally he like, oh, yeah. What's good, baby? How you doing today? And I'm like, I'm fine. And he's, what you got on your agenda and all this? And I'm like, oh, okay. It never came to my mind about nothing else. Okay. So in the process of doing all that stuff, us hanging out them little 13 weeks, he was moving into his place. And, I guess he was finally moved in because we did talk here and there, but not that often, but we did hang out and do us when we did. So he was like, you want to come up to the house this weekend? I'm going to cook something. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. He was like, I'm going to cook you up a little something, show you how I eat. You know what I'm saying? Things I like to eat. Because as I stated, even when we kicked it, he still never really ate meat. And remember, I never had paid it no mind because when I had saw him, when I first met him, he told me he didn't eat meat. Okay? He told me he didn't eat meat. And let's not forget, he had stopped to get me something to eat before we went to the hotel room. And I told y'all he had grabbed some lemon pepper, gizzards, and a liver combo. Okay? So I was starting to think, something going on here, but I ain't paying no attention because I was just so infatuated with this man. He looked good, he smelled good, and he was good.